Hello and welcome back to the IOSportscast. With me, as always, I've got Ollie.
So,
and we're here for the Formula 1 Rolex Gran Premio Made in Italy dell'Emilia-Romagna 2022 podcast.
that's a mouthful.
We're here for Imola.
Yeah, we just call it Imola.
Imola.
Why not?
Imola. This might be the highlight of the afternoon because it wasn't the best race in the world, was it?
I think the most exciting bit was probably the pit stops.
I think the most exciting bit was Crofty seeing the DRS in Naples coming up. Oh no. Right, as always, let's start with predictions and get the horribleness out of the way.
Yeah, I think we've done bad this week.
Yeah, I'm going to fly through my fantasy results. As always, brown cocktail. Verstappen, Sainz and Magnussen are my drivers. Verstappen had a wonderful weekend all round. 41 points.
Do you get points for the sprint?
I think so, yeah. He's scoring more points than normal.
So I'm guessing you do. You're guessing you will then.
He got... how did I get it? He got 15 points for quali and 26 for the race. So I don't know if he did get anything for the sprint. 41 points for me. Sainz, nada. Magnussen 7 points. Again, another solid weekend for Kelly Magnussen.
Yeah.
The teams, Ferrari got me 8 points. AlphaTauri got me 16 points. Not bad. Haas got me 2 points. My prediction for the podium, which I don't know if it did quite actually match what we put out on socials. Let me just quickly double check. It did. I put Leclerc first, Verstappen second, Perez third. So 2 nearlies and a wrong. Almost the correct podium, but then Charles threw it away, which we'll get on to. But
Yeah.
pole position, I said Max. Got the point. Fastest lap, I said Leclerc, which was almost correct. And I said 1 safety car, get in. And the bonus point question was most places gained by a driver, which I thought meant most places gained by one of my drivers that I'd picked.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
Verstappen, Sainz or Magnussen. And it wasn't.
It was just overall in
Yes.
general.
So me putting 0 to 3 because I thought that Sainz and Verstappen would already be up there and Magnussen wouldn't make 3 places up. But no, it was.
We know for next time if that question comes up.
Yeah, it's not going to.
yeah, I know, but you never know.
Yeah. So that's that. So it's an alright weekend. Let's look at our
predictions.
social predictions.
Yes.
So 3 predictions we've got to make this time.
Oh yeah.
First sprint race weekend. Qualifying. What did you said Leclerc for pole, Verstappen second, Sainz third. Which
I got no points, did I?
didn't quite happen that way. You were close. I said Verstappen first, Leclerc second, Sainz third.
You got 2 points.
So I got the first 2 right.
Yeah.
Sainz just binning it. So didn't actually take part in Q3. Otherwise,
You
could have been on for that.
Yeah, could have been
on. So good start for me. Then the sprint. This is where things go a bit weird for you, because you put Leclerc, Verstappen, Hamilton.
Yeah, because I thought Hamilton was gonna come through.
Qualify fairly well, and then
Yeah. This was
Yeah.
obviously before I saw qualifying. So-
yeah. All of these predictions were made on the Thursday before any running had happened.
So yeah.
So it felt a little bit weird putting out the predictions for the race, knowing full well you weren't going to get it right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, anything can happen in a race, but I was like, let's just make sure people know it's Thursdays. I said Leclerc, Verstappen, Perez being the top 3 in the sprint, and in the sprint it was Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, and he was almost correct, but Max had a wonderful move on the outside of Leclerc to nick it towards the end because Leclerc's tyres had completely gone off. So it was almost correct. This is another one of these almost ones.
Nearly.
In the race, well, you really thought something was going to happen. You put Leclerc first. Sorry. Hamilton second.
Yeah.
Sorry. Russell third, almost made it up for you.
I know.
I had Leclerc, Verstappen second, Perez third. So
We've not done very well, have we, this week?
if Charles hadn't have thrown it away, I'd have claimed quite a few points.
Yeah.
But don't worry, because you, in this or that,
Oh yes, I forgot.
you not only pick some decent options for the questions I asked, which I was going to give you the points there and then.
Yeah.
You then went and made two very bold predictions for bonus points, so you
I
might
can't
make
remember,
it up.
I can't remember what they
Okay.
were.
Well,
You really can't. You have to tell
so
me.
we'll start with mine. So the this or that's that you asked me were Seb or Lance, the two Aston Martin drivers, and I picked Seb. So
Which you got correct. Did you?
yes,
Yes.
yes. I was just looking at the wrong list there. Yes, Seb finished P8 and Stroll finished P10 after Ocon's penalty. And then you said Red Bull or Ferrari. I said Ferrari. That could have gone either way.
Yeah. To be fair. Yeah.
And I'm not a Red Bull fan, so I'd rather Ferrari win. So 1 point. Now here comes yours. I said battle of two of the Asian drivers, Tsunoda versus Zhao. You said Tsunoda. A great race, finished P7.
Yeah, good race for it.
So-
For the little man.
Yeah, so fair play, that's a point there. I then said Alpine or McLaren. You said McLaren, so fantastic,
Oh, no coming in clutch for me.
fantastic work. McLaren were on it. It was just unfortunate that Ricciardo got involved with science at the start.
Yeah.
because Otherwise, they'd have been all on it. And then you said some bonus points. You said Aston Martin to score points. They both scored points.
Yes, double points.
Brilliant work.
Double
Well
point
done.
finish for Aston Martin.
So an extra point for you. And then you said two, and in very capital letters here, full safety cars. That was under the one.
Ah.
Almost.
I know.
That was
almost a clean
almost.
sweep.
Almost.
Almost a clean sweep.
If you'd have just stuck there, I think I remember you being like,
I'm not-
saying like
yeah.
one's enough, and then you've gone for the second one.
Yeah.
Ah.
Because I thought there was going to be a big crash.
And you would have been right to think that, given qualifying.
Yeah.
To be fair, qualifying was all over the place. I lost like 15 years of life.
5 red flags, wasn't there?
5 red flags.
Most ever, I think, in a qualifying session. Since 2006, when they brought the
this-
knockout
Yes.
format.
With this format.
Yeah.
Although saying that, I can't think of a race before that had more. Admittedly, I wasn't watching it much before then. So.
No.
Yeah, it was a little bit all over the place. Wet conditions will do that. Mixed conditions will definitely do that. But really, it was a battle of Red Bull or Ferrari. Who's going to finish out of those 4 drivers? Who's going to finish the highest? Who's going to time it right with
Yeah.
the runs and the right tyres? I will tell you this: Lewis Hamilton is so lucky and unlucky in the same day, because he, at the end of Q1, he set a lap, and he was at the time in the bottom 5.
Yeah.
Set a lap, got out, and then everyone else was starting their last laps, and then it was like, then Lewis got overtaken and dropped back into the bottom 5, and you're like,
Yeah.
he's already set his fast lap. No one had mentioned in the commentary that he was on another fast lap, and he managed to scrape through by the thinnest.
4,000s, wasn't it? Between
Something
him
like-
and
yeah.
Tsunoda or something.
Yeah, he did a 1:24.70, and Tsunoda did a 1:24.74. 4 milliseconds.
Yeah.
Your ping is worse than that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is.
That's mad. Just how close they were. And then in Q2, the rain changed the conditions, and it just meant that thrown in with Sainz's crash, like nothing changed, and on that, what can't really call it a second run. A few cars went out to get an exploratory lap, but really it was the first run that counted, and George was 11th, Lewis was 13th. For the first time in 10 years, neither Mercedes making it to Q3.
I know.
Which is mad to think that Valtteri Bottas made Q3 again. And I will say, can we just say, that little group behind Max and Charles did extremely well. For Lando to qualify P3, for Kevin Magnussen to qualify P4, that's his highest ever qualifying.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's mental.
That's a wonderful result. Alonso 5th, Ricciardo 6th. I mean, just...
So, if you said that's going to happen at the start of the weekend, I would have been like, nah, not a chance.
Yeah. And it does mean that Max got the pole position in the history books. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway because sprint came along and he won that. This is the first sprint of the year, the first with the new layout as well for
Points.
For the points. So it's the top 8 now that score points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Leclerc jumped Max at the start, had a gear sync issue. Max just, apart from in the race, Max's starts all weekend, even practice starts, were just not good. There is something up with that gearbox. I don't know what. I don't know how to fix it.
We're not mechanics, so we don't know.
No, I just know car goes slow most of the time when setting off.
Yeah.
And Charles go faster most of the time setting off.
Oh, apart from today.
Apart from the race today, yeah. But yeah, so it meant that in the sprint, Charles was way ahead leading. I thought I had my points for predictions wrapped up. I was happy as Larry. And then a couple of laps before the end, Verstappen was getting closer and closer, and then into what is turn 2, technically. Went round the outside.
Round the outside.
Lovely move. The McLarens were 3rd row, which were like in mixed conditions for quali, P3 and P6, P7, P6. You're like, okay, maybe they've been a little bit fortunate, but then 21 laps, they didn't drop out of the top 10, which you sort of expected them to drop back. The Mercedes didn't do anything. George started 11th, stayed 11th. Lewis started 13th, finished 14th. They just didn't make it work in the sprint, which is a real shame. I'll tell you who did though. Yuki Tsunoda did quite well. He started 16th and finished 12th.
That's alright.
That's not bad. Mick started 12th, finished 10th. I mean, Sainz really was the big one to move in the sprint race. Little bit because he was out of the way. Like, he started P10, but really he was on course for the top 3 or 4. So him gaining 6 positions and finishing 4th is sort of expected. So yeah. I'll give Yuki the driver of the day for the sprint game. What did happen in the sprint was Zhou Guanyu had a bit of a collision on the first lap and brought out a safety car, and meant for the race today he had to start in the pit lane because his car had to get modified under the conditions.
And it's park firming, so he's not really allowed to touch the car.
Yes.
So
yeah, I think you can tweak the front wing.
That's
and
about
some
it.
Tyre pressures.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can do when it's in park firming conditions.
Yeah, and those two are kind of necessary. As George Russell showed today, you need to make those changes because you might have intermediate tyres and you might have soft tyres.
Yeah.
But yeah, the race, 63 laps around the Ferrari, well, sort of the Ferrari home track. Everyone's calling it the Ferrari home track, and look at the Tifosi, and yet they're 56 miles away.
And AlphaTauri 10.
Vincenzo 10 miles away. It was a horrible start for both Ferraris.
Yeah, they got swole.
They bogged down, and the reaction time was only 14 milliseconds difference.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, that's not the worst we've seen. Like, we've seen tenths of seconds.
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
What really happened was the car just stayed there.
Wheel spin. Even in 4th gear, they were getting wheel spin.
Science was really slow, and that cost him quite a lot.
I reckon if he'd have got a better start, he wouldn't have had that accident.
I think because he's clear then, isn't he? Well, more clear than
more clear than what he was.
But yeah, you could see how the spray as well would not have helped.
No,
That was mad.
Yeah,
The onboard shots going into turn 2, I was like, nah.
All I see is lights.
I can see just lights of guys right in front.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Spray.
When they get closer, that's when you slow down.
By that point, you should have been slowing down a second or two before. Yeah. So because of that, there was some contact, although not from behind, as probably we would have expected with those onboard shots. But Sainz ran round the outside, was ahead of Ricciardo. So under the new sort of technical notes,
it was Sainz's corner.
It was Sainz's corner. Yeah. However, do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I think it was Sainz's corner.
So you think Ricciardo should have been penalised then?
No, but
Sainz
gave him space.
Right.
But it's just one of them.
Obviously not enough space.
Yeah, obviously not enough, but
so yeah, so
Sainz
was ahead, went around on the outside track.
Yeah.
Ricciardo on the inside. Ricciardo makes contact with Sainz. Sainz spins around and gets beached. Ricciardo then got shunted by Bottas.
Yeah,
this was all quite quick.
Bottas hit him, but didn't have any damage, which is mad.
Yeah, I think he just hit it perfectly right on the front wing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't end plates or anything, it was the spike, as it were.
Yeah, the pointy bit. The nose.
I think it was 50-50 because, yes, Sainz has gone around the outside, but I don't think Sainz really had much of a choice given that he broke late.
Yeah.
So like he was way quicker than Ricciardo going in. So I don't think even if Sainz wanted to, you don't think he could have shut the door.
Yeah.
Ricciardo, if he slams on, he either aquaplanes, loses control and takes Sainz
out anyway,
or he gets rear-ended by Bottas, which is what happened anyway.
Yeah, and then he probably ends up into.
And then he ends up taking Sainz out.
Yeah.
So
either way,
Ricciardo can't really do much here. If he cuts the corner, he's either in the wall early or he's in the gravel.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what you can do. And initially, from all the first round of replays, it looked like Ricciardo did sort of come back from quite a long way back. Actually, then when you look at Ricciardo's onboard, you're like, oh, his front wing was never like behind the rear.
No, he's right with his side pods.
He's on his side pods, yeah. So it wasn't like it was entirely. It was Sainz's corner, but if that's
if he's come from further back,
yeah. Here's the thing though. If you look at I'm going to go back to Cops here. Last season at Cops, Lewis is a similar distance alongside Max.
Yeah.
Gets the penalty. Carries on with the race. Max is out. Similar sort of thing. Similar sort of gap. Admittedly, nowhere near as high speed a corner.
Yeah.
But still, the man on the outside ends up in the gravel. Is out of the race. So I think Ricciardo be penalised.
I think if Sainz had had proper damage, like Max did, like hit the wall and car go break, then
does that really matter? You can't penalise based on a season. You've got to penalise based on the incident. And the incidents are almost the same. The only difference is the speed.
Yeah, I think the speed puts it into account, and the weather.
But the result is exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
The weather probably did play a factor, but it felt weird that there wasn't even like a slap on the wrist. Like I think it did get investigated, but
yeah, but it said no further.
Yeah, that was
no further
action. It was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
But that meant we had a safety car. It was a long time before the safety car got called as well.
Yeah,
because I was up making a drink, came back and sat down, and only as I was coming back in,
it was safety car.
The safety car got called. But at that point, we took stock of who was where. George Russell had started P11 and got to P6. Wonderful start.
That's a great start to be fair.
And that is, fair play given that him and Turn 2 don't have a great history.
In the wet, especially.
Yeah, but also just in general. But it also meant that we got to see the safety car with, quite honestly, one of the weirdest audio tracks I've heard from a safety car. It sounded like a tractor. It was it was so grumbly.
Yeah.
Not sure whether that was meant to be as loud as it was, or whether they did like those, those audio up things and just
so you can hear it.
But I was like, oh my word, it sounds like it's gonna break down.
Imagine if the safety car broke down.
Gonna bring out the medical car as a backup. Like, what would you do in that situation?
What happens then if that breaks down?
I don't know.
Just on a guy on a bicycle.
I have no idea.
Merland on a bicycle.
I mean, if the medical car breaks down and it's on its way to something, they'll just bring the ambulance out. But if the safety car breaks down, do they have a backup safety car?
So I think they must do.
Don't know.
And they just get one of that. They just get an ambulance and
Just get Seb's scooter.
Yeah. Seb,
Kieran style.
Seb, can you just do us a favour? Pull in, get your scooter, and go out again first, please, Paul.
Yeah, I don't know what happens at that point. I'll have to look into that.
Might have to red flag the race.
Maybe. But I mean, how long can you red flag the race for? You're not going to fix the safety car in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to find out. I'll have to Google it.
Yeah, we'll have to have a look for next time. What happened? Oh, so the restart happened. Lewis went for a move on Alonso. Alonso's side pod went no, and yeeted itself.
Quite literally yeeted.
Yeah, so that
the
so
biggest
was
toll you have ever seen.
That was caused by contact with Schumacher just before the safety car, I think.
It was when
Or
it was Science's. No, it was Science's
It was on
accident.
Sanchez, yeah. Schumacher had a little one of them, multiple spins, little incidents that he had this weekend. Not the easiest of conditions, and probably not the easiest of cars still to drive, but yeah, that meant that Alonso had to retire with, no chance of repairing that.
Not a chance.
And you wouldn't want to send him out. Like the commentators for a while were like, they could just go out and do some data laps. You just wouldn't risk it.
You won't risk it because wires and everything exposed. And
you wouldn't risk it for damage to other cars and like more of the chassis breaking up.
Yeah.
Just driving it, like the amount of downforce you'll lose on a damp track, like.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm surprised that. I'm surprised he actually tried to get it back to the pits. Honestly.
He did well to get it back to the pits.
I think Alonso though is that. But it's not my problem if I call a safety car. More drama.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
However, it did mean that the two retirements for the race were the two Spanish drivers, which
it's a good job it wasn't at the Spanish Grand Prix.
Yeah. However, this was meant to be a nice, happy weekend for Sainz, and he binned it in Q2. Retired for the second race in a row on the first lap, and if you're Ferrari, you're not questioning the contract, but it does feel like the one weekend you want things to go well. New contract in Italy.
Yeah, in front of the Tifosi.
As a Ferrari driver.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just been a weekend to forget, really. After that, it got a little bit boring, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
that's the issue with Imola. It's
too narrow.
It is quite narrow,
and there's only really 2 or 3 overtaking opportunities.
Yeah, so the cars are a little bit wide, but it is a good track to be driving around.
Yeah,
and you do need concentration. Even on the dries, you need concentration.
100%.
Because there's 3 or 4 corners, you could easily drop it.
Aqua Minerale is one of them.
Oh yes, you don't like Aqua at all.
No,
you can't.
Yeah.
But anywhere from like Tosa onwards, really.
Yeah, basically.
You could pretty much drop it at any point.
As shown this race.
Yeah. Mr. Leclerc, last time out, was miles ahead of everyone in Australia, and wanted to go for fastest lap. Wanted to pit and go for fastest lap.
Yep.
Didn't need to. Was told not to.
He got it anyway though.
And went and did it himself. Anyway.
Yeah.
This time out, P3 knows his championship deficit is his championship lead is being erased. Not completely, but
it's getting cut.
lost out in the sprint race. He's losing out to the same driver in the main race. Surely you just stick around and consolidate P3 and hope Perez makes a mistake for P2.
Which I think is what he was trying to. No, it wasn't. He was going for
He
P2.
wasn't.
was going for P2.
He wanted either P2 or P3 in fastest lap.
Yeah.
Did they make a mistake bringing him in?
It wasn't. Well, he was catching him, but then he wasn't, was he?
Yeah.
And then they pitted him, and then they pitted Perez for a second time,
Mm.
and then he was catching him, and then it was like dogfighting. I don't know. I think so.
You think he made a mistake?
Yeah.
I think they made a mistake, partly because they weren't actually clear of Lando, and it's a risky track to assume you're going to get the overtake. I mean,
And it's 30 seconds pit loss.
It was 29 30 seconds is a long time, and the risk that things can go wrong, and the track wasn't dry, so you get a little bit offline with your softs, and it could end badly. But none of that mattered because he didn't need the wet track. He just dropped it on a sausage curb on the chicane.
Yep.
A very us move.
Yeah. Mainly me, but you know. Yeah.
There was a little bit of, when I saw it go around, I was like, oh my days, I can't believe he's done that. But then it's like the second thought that I had was, press R2, let's go to the next guy.
The only thing is, when it happened, I thought it's actually like out.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna like break his rear wing or something, or his rear wheels.
He got very lucky.
But he just like tapped the wall.
To dink the wall, yeah.
Lost an end plate, but that was about it.
Yeah, weird that he came straight back in. After that, they probably could have let him go for another lap just to see what the damage was.
Yeah.
And also, he came in, pitted for softs because they're going for fastest lap. There's 13 laps or something.
He was on softs. He said, you should have put me on
mediums.
mediums.
Yeah, so
and then he came back in.
And they pitted back onto softs.
And they put him back onto softs, and I'm just like...
Why? First question, why does Charles think with like 13 laps, 15 laps left, that mediums were the better option?
Yeah.
Like in the sprint race, it was give or take mediums, and that's 21 laps, flat out. We're now on a damp track, so you're not going to be flat. Your tyres are not going to get overheated, and you're doing less laps. So why
mediums? Yeah.
Why mediums? And then why would the team then go? I can understand why the team go. No, Charles, you're wrong. And put the softs back on.
Yeah.
But if the driver said put me on mediums, the team can then go, all right, you've made that call. We're not the ones making this call now.
Yeah.
If it messes up, it's on you.
Yeah.
Even with the mediums on, he'd have made the places back up to 6th. He had the speed to do that.
Yeah.
Easily. Yeah, I don't know whether they needed to do that. If they don't do that second pit stop, and let's assume he's within the sort of laps that he could do.
Yeah.
Before. That extra 30 seconds means he probably only just loses third place to Lando.
Possibly.
He's got a bit of damage. Let's say he's got a bit of damage, so he's not going to go flat out like he did.
Yeah.
30 seconds gap. Right now, where he finished, puts him 8 seconds clear of Lando. Let's assume he's in third, Lando fourth.
Yeah.
Let's assume 8 seconds of damage is about right. He's fighting with Lando for third place.
Yeah. Rather than 6th.
They take the extra lap, and they need to pit him.
Yeah.
Then he had a 5 second gap to Tsunoda. You're not going to lose that in one lap.
No, you're not.
Like, I don't know. Ferrari again with the strategy. I don't know. Who else had a good race? Vettel had a decent race.
Vettel surprised me to be fair.
Actually, both Aston Martins did all right. They gained 5 places each from their grid start. Stroll in the end ended up being a bit of a train conductor. He wasn't really I don't know, comfortable
Yeah.
should we say. Behind was Albon, Gasly, Hamilton, and then the end. Well, technically Ocon were up there as well, but wasn't because of the penalty, which we'll get onto in a minute. Overall, though, given last race's fiasco that Aston Martin had, 8th and 10th, first points on the board.
They'll take that.
They'll very happily take that, I think. Is this a sign, do you think, that Vettel's starting to understand his car now? It's only his second race. Or do you think it's just the wet conditions?
I think it's just the wet conditions. Personally.
You think he's going to be back at the back in Miami?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, it's Miami. It could get rain.
I don't know. At this point, anytime I see rain in F1, I'm still haunted by Spa.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, right. Let's talk about the Ocon penalty. So Hamilton comes in for a pit stop.
Well,
Ocon comes in for a pit stop.
Everyone comes in for a pit stop, basically.
But these two
particularly.
Yeah. We're caring about. Lewis has quite a slow stop, not the worst stop, but a slow stop. I don't remember which tyre it was, but rear right.
Rear right or rear left. It was one of the rear tyres.
Which meant that the gap to Ocon in front was 0, apparently.
Yeah.
Ocon managed to get ahead with an unsafe release and literally came out into the fast lane with Lewis next to him.
Yeah, basically. And
like
the pit lane's not very, the fast lane's not very wide.
It's not a wide pit lane at all.
Yeah.
Don't know what either of them could have done. Once Ocon's been released, I don't know what you can do, because you can't stay right, mainly because the car in front of him's pitting, and there's a team a team there. He can't go left because Lewis is there, and he can't stop in the pit lane.
He could have waited in his box.
But he can't see.
Yeah, but it's I guess.
So once the team have released him, he can't do anything. So is it right that he got a penalty?
Yeah, it's unsafe release, isn't it?
Good answer. I tried to give you all the information for you to say no. It's just on the team.
Nah, it's unsafe. Well, it is on the team because they're the ones that released him. The guy who controls the little red light and green light should have been that. Yeah, you can go.
Sorry to all the phone. Just.
Yeah. But yeah, and it could have been a lot worse because obviously Hamilton was literally up against brushing the wall.
Yeah.
When he came out, he could have hit the wall and had a crash in the pit lane.
Plenty of damage there, yeah.
Well, they made out like it was a massive crash.
Yeah, because we didn't see it live. We just heard Ted being like, "Oh, there's been a crash." Oh, was it Crofty or what?
Croft, I think it was.
One of them.
Ted reported it, and
Yeah,
Crofty was like, "I just been a crash," and we were like,
"What?"
And then we saw
neither of the guys that have been mentioned are dropping down the lead.
Yeah.
They're just. Oh.
And they saw the replay. And it's like, yeah, it is an unsafe release.
Yeah, there was a bit of a tap. There was not a full crash though.
No.
Right. We're on race 4 of 6 apparently for Nicholas Latifi. P16. Started P19.
Why 5, 6?
Because you said it's a race 6. If he's not got his game up, you're gonna sack him.
Oh yeah.
We're 4 races in now.
Yeah, go on then.
Are you gonna wait till race 6?
What is race 6?
Monaco, I think. Is it Monaco? Spain, maybe.
Let's have a quick look. Yeah, let's have a quick look.
Grand Prix. Spain is 6th, Monaco 7th. Miami and then Spain.
What's his results
for this season?
Yeah.
16th retired, 16th.
So consistently 16th.
Consistently
16th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd still bin him off.
Okay.
What you say that now? I'll get a 15th in Miami. I'm surprised everybody will get a 50. That or he'll DNF.
Yeah. Should we look ahead to Miami? Is there anything else that we forgot about Imola? Oh, Bottas. Almost got
George.
Russell.
That cried if that had happened.
That almost got spicy.
Yeah, especially from last year as well when they had the
Was
big
it last 4 or 5 laps that he had to go was in DRS range.
Yeah.
And then just didn't have the legs, or just didn't trust George to make the move.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
No.
But you could see Valtteri with just a different driver.
Yeah.
Like his
100%.
other overtakes, you're like, yeah, okay, he's being a bit cautious.
On the Mercedes, it's like full steam
He's
ahead.
yeah.
Red mist.
I'm here.
Go.
In the mirrors. Very much like every racing car film always has like the shot from like the side pods, so you can see the rear mirrors and the car behind.
Yeah.
And literally, you can see Valtteri was there trying to make himself look big. Just didn't have the track. It was only the one DRS zone.
Yeah.
And for half the race, we didn't have DRS.
Yeah. We should have had it a lot earlier.
Yeah, I can understand why they didn't call it on the intermediates.
Yeah.
I can understand that. It's happened before, but I can.
But when everyone was on the slicks and they're just pumping in fastest lap after fastest lap and going a lot quicker, you'd wang it. You just press that go button.
Yeah, I think that's the sign is when all the drivers have started going on.
Not like straight away, not as soon as on. So it's maybe like 5 or 6 laps in.
Yeah.
When you know it's just when you know it's settled down and that.
Yeah, we don't need to wait till was it lap 34 or something?
Something like
32.
That. It was over a half race distance, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, about halfway through, wasn't it? Yeah. Mad times. We went from having a very unsafe race. What's his name? What's the title? What was Massey's title? Race
Director,
that's the word. Yeah. So we went from having a very unsafe race director
to a very cautious race.
to an extremely cautious one. Of the two, I would rather have the cautious one.
Yeah, 100%.
But it does feel like.
Feels like they're taking the time for decisions though, like with the safety car.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the first time the safety car's been a late call. The red flags in quali and practice were very late calls as well. Yeah, maybe that's just them finding their feet. That they're.
But it's different race directors each race, isn't it as well? So.
It is. Yeah, but they're both fairly experienced.
Yeah, they all know what they're doing. But.
So yeah, it'll just be getting comfortable with the F1's setup and. Yeah. Let's see when we get to Britain if what happens there. That's 10 races, isn't it? Like that, so.
Yeah.
Right, a quick rundown of the result before we talk about Miami. Leclerc still in first, has now a 27-point gap to Max in P2, so can afford to DNF.
Yeah.
But that is significantly less than 45 or something.
Something like that, 40 odd points. Yeah.
Yeah. Checo third, with his second in a row. George P4.
Only driver to finish in the top 5.
Yeah, 4th, 5th,
so
3rd,
far.
4th. Yeah, he's doing quite well. Let's just be real, he's doing really well.
Especially with that Mercedes. Imagine what he'd be doing if that Mercedes was like up there.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to look down the points very quickly just to see if anyone else. I think I'm right in saying that only Charles and George have finished in the points every race so far.
Yeah.
I think so. Carlos Sainz, despite a second retirement on lap 1 in a row, is P5. Lando P6, Lewis P7, Valtteri P8. He's driving the wheels off that car.
Yep.
Esteban P9, Kevin Magnussen P10. Brilliant that the Haas is in the point. 3 races in 4. Magnussen scored points, which sort of puts in perspective. Mick Schumacher, 19th, needs to sort his game out.
Yeah.
The 3 drivers in the championship this year that have not scored points, one of them is Hulkenberg, the others are Mick and Nicholas.
There you go. So Latifi is probably the other one. They're the only 2 that haven't scored points.
Everyone else has scored at least 1 point now that Lance got a point this weekend. And Seb obviously scored points this weekend. Does mean that I'm just going to refresh the page because people have not put the point premium yet. It does mean now that every team scored points this season, which is quite nice to see.
Yeah.
Because we hated having a team at the back without scoring any points. Ferrari still lead the way. I mean, that's probably going to be. It's going to be Ferrari, Red Bull, 1-2.
Yeah.
That is pretty clear. I can't see either of them massively imploding. I can see reliability maybe being an issue, but I feel like they both have their issues over the season.
Yeah.
Mercedes still a clear third. McLaren leading the midfield battle in fourth, with Alpine and Alfa Romeo right at the back. I actually think Alfa might have jumped Alpine. I think this table hasn't been updated. Yeah, Alfa have 25 points, Renault have 22.
Ooh.
Haas still doing well. Another.
They're a point behind AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
In the constructors.
Yeah. Good weekend for AlphaTauri. Overall, Tsunoda, best result of the season so far for Tsunoda. Unlucky for Gasly really to be caught up with the traffic, because I feel like he actually could have scored some points had he got free. And then Williams and Aston Martin at the back. I think overall in the season, Seb's got that experience to probably put Aston Martin clear of Williams. But come on, Abolo.
Yeah, I
Come
know.
on.
Yeah.
Just want him to do a little bit better. He's nearly there. Right, Miami. I saw a video of Checo going around the Miami circuit. It wasn't complete, which, given that it's in
2 weeks,
a fortnight's time, is still a little bit worrying. But most of it is like superficial stuff that will get done next week, so it's not a major issue. But the track itself didn't look good.
Have you got a picture of it? Bit narrow, that, isn't it?
It is very narrow.
Yeah, you can't get too cars with that.
It feels like an American Formula E track.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously there's going to be like the barriers and stuff that are going to make it feel even smaller.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So like, this looks like a time trial track, not a racing track. Yeah. If that is how it was on the day it was released, which is unlikely, it's probably a few weeks.
Yeah.
But if that was how it was, they've got a lot of work to do. I've seen on social media like videos of them painting the so satisfying.
Oh, I've seen that. I think I've seen that video.
Oh, the painting.
The blue. It was
and
like
the Heineken logos and.
Oh, I've not seen that. I've seen them painting the blue line down the side of the track. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's satisfying.
There's like a full extended reel where they do like the sidewall painting and stuff as well.
I've not seen that.
But
I have to give that a watch.
Yeah, have a look for it. I never felt great about going to Miami. We said this last time in the last podcast. I'm not a fan of multiple races in the same track. I could probably deal with 2.
In the same country?
If I had to, I could probably deal with 2.
Yeah.
Once we're driving on all the continents, then let's think about multiple. Let's get Kyalami.
And it's looking more and more likely.
Potential. The other one I want is the Kimi Rink or the Kami Rink in Finland. Kimi Ring.
I've not seen that one.
It's like the Finnish. It hosts loads of tracks and is tier 1.
Is it?
So they could go. It's been like full FIA level 1
for ages.
Certified and stuff. Yeah. So they could just go. It's just money, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it'd be nice. Finland has it's got a history now in Formula 1.
Yeah.
What was rally and stuff is that's still its main breed, but like we've had
2 Finnish world champions.
3 titles.
Yeah.
And we've had Valtteri Bottas. And hey, I mean, we've seen a lot more of Valtteri Bottas than we ever thought we would. So
Yeah.
Surely that's worth a trip home. Yeah. Don't know what I was going to say about Miami because now we've been watching the video and now I've got confused.
Yeah, I think it's because shouldn't be procession.
Yeah, it doesn't look the widest. There's a little bit of runoff, but really it just seems like a weird FE track.
Yeah.
Right, shall we do some predictions?
We shall.
We'll do our normal predictions on social media as per usual.
Yep.
In the podcast, we are going to do this or that.
Cool.
So, normally we do pick a team, pick a driver. I feel like we could probably expand it to just, here are two scenarios, pick one.
Oh, okay.
And then if they with drivers and teams, it's fairly factual. One finishes above the other. With the scenarios, I think we can be a little bit more lax with it.
Yeah.
Like, this one was the closer one, even though neither happened. So
yeah. Go on.
So I was hoping that in that time while I was talking about it, you would be thinking of something.
Oh, that's not
all right. Okay.
Scenarios.
Okay. So I'm gonna say questions for you. Are there gonna be more VSCs or safety cars? Fulls or virtuals?
Full safety cars.
You're saying full.
Yep.
Do you wanna guess a number?
1.
One safety car. And then I'm gonna say blue teams versus all the other teams. Who scores more points?
When you class blue teams, who were you counting?
So blue teams, I'm gonna say Red Bull,
Yeah.
Alpine,
Yeah.
Mercedes. Even though they're technically not blue, they are light blue in the tickers. Williams. Yeah.
We're going to score more points than.
Those 4 teams together than the rest of the teams.
That's a good one, that.
Really, the only reason it becomes a good question is because Red Bull are at the front and Ferrari can't seem to not get both drivers on it.
Yes.
Blue teams score more.
Yes.
Blue teams win. Okay. What have I got?
So, if the
Sorry.
Oh.
AlphaTauri in there as well.
Okay.
Just to help your cause. I was looking. I was like, I'm sure there's 5.
Yeah, I'm going to say. I'm pretty sure you.
Yeah.
One of mine's dependent on if there's a safety car.
Okay.
So if there's a safety car, do you reckon if there's a safety car, it'll change the outcome of the race?
Okay.
Like Latifi crashing, changed the race winner when the safety car came out.
Change outcome
of race.
That's not really this or that, but sure.
I know, but
I think no. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it's going to be a bit of a procession anyway, and the safety car might make a little bit of interest, but it's not going to be massively influential.
Okay. Less than 3 retirements or more than 3 retirements?
Ooh.
Bearing in mind we've never been to that track.
Bear in mind we've never been to that track.
And it's a street circuit.
It's a street circuit, and we're in a new era of aerodynamics.
Yeah.
That's a good question. What if there's exactly 3? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say
So you think there's going to be less than 3 retirements?
Less than 3. I'm gonna say, okay. I'll read.
So alright, I give if it's 3 and below. I'll
3
give
and
you
below. Yes.
3 and below.
Okay.
You can have it.
Yeah. 3 or less.
Yeah, 3 or less. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going for 3 or less. Interesting.
Fair enough.
You gonna throw a special bonus in there? You gonna try and claw back the points?
Yeah, because I need to.
What we'll do, we'll top this up at the end. It turned out you didn't need any bonus points.
Yeah, it turns out I just won.
You've just annihilated.
I think. Oh no, there's only 2 drivers that haven't scored points, isn't there?
Yes, because let's be real.
Well, we're not counting Hulkenberg.
Hulkenberg ain't gonna happen.
Because Hulkenberg isn't. Yeah, he's not going to come back. I think I'm going to throw this out there. Either Latifi or Michelle or Mick Schumacher score a point minimum.
Okay. Lat or Musk
At least a point.
to score a point.
And I'm going to be another ball prediction.
Mm.
Alpine top 5. One of the Alpines top 5.
That's not. I mean, I would rather be on that second one.
Oh, but all right. I would change it. Let me change it. One of the Alpines on the podium.
Top 3, okay. Alpine driver podium.
Yeah.
Wow. That, ladies and gentlemen, was a wonderful course on psychology, and I managed to bait him into something even further.
Yeah, but if it happens, I am a genius.
Mate,
I'll message Fernando during the week saying,
if that happens, we're going to go into a casino and I'm going to push you. We're going to win a lot of money.
Red or black?
Green.
You got a 1 in 32 chance.
36, isn't it?
That's what 32.
I thought it was 36.
I don't know. I'll have to find out.
I'm sure it's 3 dozen. Anyway, we don't really play with that other than GTA losing our money.
Yep.
Right, I think that's it.
Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the other ones. There's too many to name. Make sure you give us a like, subscribe, and share as well, because that would be much appreciated. And we will see you in 2 weeks, maybe, for the Miami GP. See ya.
Goodbye.